My name is Vadhan. I'm an author, lawyer, regulatory compliance specialist and dreamer. I'm here to talk to you about the power of introspection. Shunya. Success, failure, okay, empathy, apathy, rich, poor, all of these are two sides of the same coin, right? Now, what makes one a success? What makes one empathetic or sympathetic? What makes one rich? Which is the positive side of things, and what makes the other? Generally in life, when we are looking at progressing with it. In my opinion, absolute nothing can make it happen. So when I say absolute nothing, I don't mean absolutely nothing, I mean absolute nothing. Right? And when you know the difference between absolutely nothing and absolute nothing, you will ask the question, then what is absolute nothing? Absolute nothing, or Shunya, is defined, the Sanskrit word Shunya is defined as knowledge of the self without the delusion of materialism. Right? What? Can any of you understand that? Can any of you even understand how to relate that to your life? I don't think you can. I couldn't when I first read it. So what needs to happen is that you need to contextualize what absolute nothing is. Right? And how do you contextualize it? By applying it to what you are doing. For which you need to be aware of self-awareness. There are 4 levels of self-awareness. Okay? Just be patient with me, I'll explain to you and contextualize it. The 4 levels of self-awareness are Sthula, which is physicality, which means your physical self, your body weight, your body height, sensation, pain, hunger, everything to do with your physical self. Right? That's a basic and first level of awareness that you are born with. It comes by default. Right? It's like the Windows system that plays on your computer or laptop. And as you grow, you start realizing that you know what your physical faculties are, how strong or weak are you, how tall or short are you, etc. and so forth. That's your first level of awareness, self-awareness. The second level of self-awareness is known as sukshma, opaqueness. Right? Now, this is beyond your physical self, where you're going to talk about your mental faculties. Are you right brain or left brain? Are you going to be an architect or an engineer? Are you going to be an artist? Yeah? Or are you going to be a surgeon? Okay? So that's your mental faculties on one side and your physical faculties on the other side. And by the time you're finishing school, you pretty much figure out that, right, these are my physical attributes or my faculties and these are my mental faculties. We are clear on that. Self-awareness. The third self-awareness is Shunya. Shunya. Right? Shunya is associated with silence and death. Right? Not literally, symbolically. Right? It is symbolic of isolation, introspection, right? And getting insights. So beyond your basic mental faculties of figuring out whether you're right brain or left brain, you also need to figure out what you're going to do with your physical attributes and your mental attributes. And that you do through the Shunya phase of your self-awareness. Absolute nothing. Or introspection. The 4th level of self-awareness is a very, very mysterious level of self-awareness. It's called Shiva. And it says that which is not. That which is not. Which in first blush, if you look at it, doesn't make any sense. It is nothing. That's what people think. Or that's what is the first understanding you get of the 4th level of awareness, self-awareness. Sure. But in this 15 minutes, I will take you through and contextualize these 4 levels of self-awareness and how it's going to help you. Now the context. And I'll start the context with an example, and then I'll give you my example. Right? When I finished school, that was back in 1987, I guess, when your parents were in school at that time. So when I finished school, there was an uncle who walked up to me and said, "Hey, listen, why don't you finish your graduation and then do your MBA? You'll be in the management of a company, you'll be very secure." Another uncle came up to me and said, "Don't listen to him. You do graduation in India, but go to the US and do your MBA and come back. You won't be in the management of the company, you will be in the top management of the company. Not only will you be secure, you will also be rich." And a third guy came and said to me, "Listen, you can talk, obviously. You can talk, you can write well. Why don't you become a lawyer?" So then finally I decided I'm going to become a lawyer. Right? And therefore, I started studying law, I became a lawyer. But was I happy with it? I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with it. So then you have my friends who walked up to me and said, "My dad got me a seat in medical college. So therefore, I'm studying to be a doctor." And then another friend came up with a weirder story. He said, "My mom wanted to do engineering, but for many reasons she couldn't do engineering, so she wants me to fulfill her dreams. I'm happy doing that. But what about your dreams? What about your goal? How do you visualize your goal? Are you going to live somebody else's dream? Will you be happy doing that?" So that is where you go into yourself, into your Shunya, your nothingness, absolutely nothing, and you figure out what's going to make you happy. And to give you another example, he studied to be a lawyer, and ultimately he gave up on law to fight for the freedom of his country, and from Mohanchand Karamdas, he became Mahatma Gandhi because he went into himself and realized and visualized his goal of what he wanted to be in life. Right? And as a result of that, he became the Mahatma of the country, the father of the nation. Now, that is visualization. And how do you do that visualization? You don't listen to your uncles, you don't listen to your aunties, you absorb what they say, but you don't absolutely listen to them. You do is unclutter your mind, go into yourself, into that absolutely nothing part of you, the ground zero within yourself. And then you introspect to find out what makes you happy. Because your goal is what makes you happy, is that's what you have to do for the rest of your life. And you will be successful doing that. Right? So visualizing your goal means figuring out what makes you happy, constructively happy. I'm not talking alcoholism, I'm not talking drug abuse, constructively happy. And then go ahead and identify that and do it. After you've visualized your goal and you've identified what you want to do, you will have to understand the fact that your goals will keep shifting. Your goals will keep shifting because always there is change. Change is constant. And I'll give you another example of that. I'm in my 50s, but let's discount the 10 years, the first 10 years of my life. In the last 40 years, India has gone from an underdeveloped country to the 5th largest economy in the world for one simple reason. It underwent a huge amount of change. Everything changed. Right? And as a result of that change, your goals, which you have already visualized, and this is what you want to do, will also undergo a change. And you have to look into that. Now, I am going to tell you a small story about myself to establish this fact of what change is and what I had to suffer as a result of the change, and how introspection, right, the power of Shunya helped me. In 2010, I started a business. This business was for regulatory compliance, along with a friend of mine, an investor who was a friend of mine. We started the company in 2010. By 2014, we had really shot way up. Right, so we were supporting our clients across 20 countries in the world.